a couple of my favorite tools in the toolbox. So I'm going to pop back over into my PowerGP Online environment. And you'll notice I've got this little red R up here in my toolbar. This is my Rockton Toolbox button. From here, I can get to all of the different components in Toolbox. But the first one that I want to show you is batch review. Batch review is, like I said, it's that one window to rule all your batches. You know, I can come in here and I can pick a batch. Let's say I'll pick my month-end purchasing batch. And by the way, like right from here, I can see status. You know, this one's unapproved, this one's available, this one's marked for posting. You can see the number of transactions in it. So just a lot of great information from here. Once I select the batch in the grid, I can see all the transactions that are in the batch. Like I don't have to just go to the payables transaction entry window and like VCR button through them. We got to come up with a new name for those VCR buttons, by the way. Maybe some of you guys have, and I just haven't caught up, but we don't really use VCRs anymore. I can see all my transactions here. If I notice one, like let's say like this one, this 25K to Ace Travel, that seems like a lot of money. I can double click on it, and it takes me right into the payables transaction entry window, where I can see the details of this transaction, plus with the vendor activity pane that's been added as part of PowerGP Online, I can click on Open Payables, and I can see the other items that are out there for this vendor, and just right away, you know, I can see the dollar amounts are just way off. So there's got to be something going on with this with this voucher. So I'm not quite ready to play with it yet. And also this $2,400 one, I can select these, control click these guys, and with another click, I can just move these to a different batch. Like I've got an on hold batch in payables. I just move those guys over to that batch, and there we go. Now my month-end batch only has these 2 transactions in it. And if I flip back over to on hold, they're the ones I just moved. Super cool how easy that is. And now I just demonstrated that with AP documents. This also works really well with SOP documents. So if you're using batch IDs in SOP to manage some of your workflow as transactions move through your fulfillment process, this is a really, really fast and easy way to move transactions around. And then, you know, from this window also, you can actually do, you know, transfers of your batches, and just you can manage all that stuff right here. You can even add new transactions to one of the batches. I mean, Rockton has just made this super easy. Oh, this is a duplicate, or I talked to the person who created it. I can just hit the delete button here and delete the transaction. I can delete the entire batch, post the batch. I mean, whatever I need to do with a batch, I can do it right here. Another thing you can do with these, you can say I've got a cash receipts batch. This says unapproved, so I must be using batch approvals on this particular type of transaction. When I select that batch, my approve button lights up. I can actually approve this batch right from here. And when I pop that in, you can see the approval status right on the screen. And now, you know, I can unapprove it, I could post it. So again, just really, really cool. Now, something else that's nice in the toolbox is Rockton's reset batch feature. Now, we have a feature in PowerGP Online that does this also, but Rockton's window is better than ours. So now you're going to have access to Rockton's window, which is really awesome. You just come up to reset batches, and you can come into this window, and this will surface up any batches that, you know, are locked or, you know, in some kind of a state where you can't get in and edit them or delete them. So this reset batches tool, it takes the place of having to run SQL scripts to unlock stuck batches for customers, and just lets customers self-service, which is really nice. So you'll get this window as part of the Rockton toolbox as well. So that's the batch review tool. Hands down, one of my favorite tools inside of the toolbox. But this next one's pretty cool too. The next one I'm going to show you is pop-ups. Now, pop-ups kind of work in a couple of different ways. One of them will pop up a message anytime I open a window. So anytime I open the vendor maintenance window, this little pop-up is gonna come up to remind me that I need to get W-9s for all my vendors. Again, just whenever I open the vendor maintenance window, that's gonna pop up. Another kind of pop-up is connected to a particular record inside of GP. So for example, I'm gonna come over and enter a sales order. And I'm gonna do it for Bob Fitz. Now I'm gonna use Rockton Smart Fill to make it really easy to find this customer. So I just type in Fitz and it automatically finds Aaron Fitz. Now I have a pop-up on Aaron Fitz saying here that I need to make sure that Bob knows that Amber's favorite product, the 100 XLG, is a green phone. Seems that he's been buying these and then trying to return them because he thought they were going to be red, even though we told him they were green, and he thought the red phones would lead to a bat cave. It's really confusing. But now that I know this, as I'm working with Aaron or working with Bob to get his order in, I just have a little more information to help make sure that I get this order processed for Bob correctly. So he wants that green phone. So I'm just going to type in green. Smart Fill is going to put in the 100 XLG for me. And look at this. I've even got a note on the green phone to say, make sure the customers know these phones are green and they do not lead to a bat cave. So every time I enter 100 XLG for any customer, that message is going to come up for me. And let's see, just for fun, let's get some SD RAM here also. You notice when I put it in the RAM SKU, no message pops up. So that's a little bit about what you can do with these pop-ups. Just a really cool way to make sure that your customer's team have the right information at the right time in the context of what they're doing. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this guy. The next item in the toolbox that I really like is reason for hold. So for example, let's say I come in here and I'm going to pull up Aaron Fitz. By the way, these pop-ups literally work with the notes. So the record level note that's here on the customer, if I want to change it, I just go to the customer and change their note, like we've been doing in GP forever. And if I want to put this guy on hold, when I click the hold box, it's going to ask me for a reason. He just really wants a bat cave, and we don't provide those. So now that I have put a reason for hold on here, when I come back in, when I open the customer record, it's going to automatically pop this up. So number one, very obvious that this customer is on hold, but number two, I can see why the customer is on hold. And I can dismiss it for this customer if I wish, but just makes it, again, having the right information at the right time. The last little tool I'm going to show you with Rockton is Inspector. Inspector is a really cool product. If you've ever dug through the GP database trying to figure out what table that piece of information is contained in, this is great when you're writing SQL views or creating reports. Anytime you're interacting with the database, because it'll basically tell you where anything that you're looking for is stored. So let's say I open up my receivables transaction entry window. Now that I've got Inspector open, as soon as I open the receivables transaction entry, the Inspector window becomes aware of that. So it knows that I've got this receivables transaction entry window open. If I click on a field like customer ID, for example, any of the tables connected to this window that contain that field will have a little checkbox next to them. And I can see not only the name of the table, but I can see the physical name of it as well. So when I go into SQL and try to find that, just makes it super easy. You know, again, just if you can point and click at a field, you can find where that field is stored in the database. So just a really great job. And did I say this is a great tool? If you are on remote desktop, the 3 tools we're not supporting are user lockout, system lockout, and version pro. We've had some technical issues with some of them, and version pro isn't really needed when you only have 1 remote desktop server. So those tools aren't going to be in the box. If you're using web client, same deal with those, but inactivity, timeout, user groups, and period open close, those windows don't currently work with web client very well. So to make sure that all of our users have a great experience, you know, we want to make sure that we provide tools that actually work in the GP experience that they're using. We've also been working with Rockton. They may be making some updates to these to get them to work with web client, and as they do, we'll add those into the bundle. So these are the tools that we're not providing. Every other tool that comes with Rockton's GP Toolbox is going to be available